Breathe out, let go of all the stress, all the worries, all the cares. Focus on loving God. And if anybody has their phones, their TVs on, or any other background noise, it will come through. So if you have that, you can mute your mic. I don't know who, but you hear the noise. I'm trying to see who it is. So after we do the responses and the prayers, maybe you can mute your mics during the sermon time and then unmute them when we have announcements again. I'll have to keep crying because I hear the kids. God summons us to wake up. The light has come to lead us to all that is good.
Our eyes have been opened
to God's goodness, to seek to live as children of light.
God sees beyond our outward appearances. God knows the intent of our hearts.
We are here
to find out what is pleasing to God.
We want
to know what is right and true.
What is true.
God listens to us all. Praise God with openness and obedience.
We seek
to know and follow God's will.
and follow God's will.
To do the works of God.
In this heightened time of fear and anxiety with our limited insight, we often misjudge people and situations. Our view of things may be far from the way God sees the circumstances of our lives and our relationships. Individually and together, we are involved in sin and those things that cut us off from God and what God expects of us and from our relationships with each other. Let us admit our need for forgiveness and let us join together in our prayer of confession. Great Shepherd,
we thank you for
finding us, bringing us
to this time of prayer.
We have wandered far
from the paths of integrity, justice, and peace that you have set before us.
Our current
pandemic
has heightened our senses
and our
anxieties.
So
easy for us to give in to our fears.
We are so quick to judge others and to excuse ourselves. And now we want to be acceptable to you.
It's acceptable to you.
Surely we
persuade ourselves. You prefer people like us.
Not those
who hear, believe, or act
differently.
Even as we say those words, we know we are not
in tune with your way.
Forgive
us, we pray.
We pray.
Help us
To change. Amen.
The goodness and mercy of God are always available to us. We can receive these gifts when we are truly sorry for our sin and open ourselves to the richness of God's grace. When we let God touch our unseeing eyes, we gain new insights and can begin to view others with the compassion of Christ. Let us accept with joy the healing we are offered right here and right now. Now I'm going to do the reading. This morning I'm going to combine the reading of the lesson with the sermon. So if you want to mute your mic for right now, that way if you're coughing or anything else, interfere with anybody else hearing. And we'll begin our sermon time together. Again, the reading is going to be entwined with the sermon. So our gospel reading of the blind man receiving his sight really fits with what we are experiencing today. It's a story of contrast. The blind see, the sighted close their eyes. All the characters must choose between faith and fear, between old practices and new possibilities, between an old way of life and a new one just emerging. It is a story of major transitions in life. A miracle happened. God's glory was revealed, but it happened on the wrong day, in the wrong place, and was done by the wrong person. So if a miracle happens that doesn't fit into our guidelines, did it really happen? If it didn't happen in the only way we thought possible, then what? Is it heresy? Can it be allowed? Can it be accepted? What do we do about it? How do we treat people who accept what we can't accept? Kind of the underlying question for us in this day, isn't it? In this story, it's a miracle. But what about life in general? What about anything that happens outside of our comfort zones or our perspective in life? What about recognizing the impact right now in our lives from this COVID-19 virus? Do we want to ignore it for the faith? Or can we acknowledge that it will challenge us and shape us in ways that we never expected, and it'll shape us for decades to come? Can we risk letting go of life as we know it and allow God to use our current circumstances to transform us, our communities, and the world? Can we let go of the surety of what is known to follow the possibility of what might be? And let's just on this. I do most believe that God has sent this virus. I do, however, believe that God can use it. And what's going on to make us all healthier and stronger as people, and especially as a community. Because God can use anything that happens in life, whether good or bad, especially the bad. God doesn't cause it, but can always use it to make things better. And just like in our gospel reading, something happens that challenges us to our core. It challenges our core beliefs and our life practices and calls us to new eyes of understanding and compassion. Over and over again in the Bible, we see the stories of people longing for certainty and God offering possibilities instead. We want to know when this pandemic will end. And God is showing us all kinds of possibilities of how we can connect, like today, this morning. We can connect in new and different ways and live life differently. And through it all, God is giving us a choice. Every story we ever hear in the Bible, every parable Jesus shares, he always gives people a choice. Each story we live in our lives gives us a chance to choose certainty or possibility, despair or hope, clinging to what we know, or trying something new. It's always our choice. Will we let the voices of others determine how we choose? Or can we, in the face of everything and everyone that says otherwise, open our eyes and choose the new possibilities being offered by God? So let's look at our gospel story for this morning. And Brian, if you can silence or mute your mic, that'll help us. It's the bottom left-hand corner of your screen.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus was walking down the street when he saw a man who had been born blind from birth. His disciples asked, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, causing him to be blind? I mean, it can't just be chance, right? A chance of nature, that something's wrong with a person in their life. They or their parents must have done something wrong. Or maybe it's just bad at the very core. I mean, bad things don't happen to good people, right? So who sinned to cause this? And Jesus said to them, you're asking the wrong question. You're looking for someone to blame, and there's no such cause and effect here. Life happens. Good and bad things happen to people every day. Most always beyond our control. Everything may happen for a reason, but it's seldom the reason you think. So don't look to place blame or cause. Look instead for what God can do. Look at the possibilities. How can we move forward showing the glory of God? Jesus continued, we need to be energetically at work. The one who sent me here working while the sun still shines. When night falls, the workday is over. For as long as I am in the world, there's plenty of light. I am the world's light. Jesus said this, and then spit in the dust and made a clay paste with saliva, rubbed the paste on the blind man's eyes and said, "Go and wash at the pool of Siloam." And Siloam means sent. And the men went and washed, and he saw. Soon the town was buzzing. His relatives and those who year after year had seen him as a blind man begging were saying, "Why isn't this the man we knew? I mean, who sat there and begged? Is this really him?" And others said, "It's him, all right." But others objected, "It's not that man at all. It just looks like him." And he said, "It's me, the very one." And they said, "How did your eyes get opened?" "A man named Jesus made a paste and rubbed it on my eyes and told me, 'Go to Siloam and wash.' I did what he said. And when I washed, I saw." "So where is he?" they asked. "I don't know." And then the people got upset and they marched the man to the Pharisees, because this day, when Jesus made the paste and healed the blind man, was the Sabbath. How dare he break the Sabbath law? This can't be possible. It just isn't done. Let's find out what the religious authorities have to say. They will set this blind man straight. They will tell this Jesus what's what. You can't be healed on the Sabbath. We won't allow it. And the Pharisees grilled the man again and again and asked him how he had come to see. And he said, "Jesus put the clay paste on my eyes, and I washed, and now I see." And some of the Pharisees said, "Obviously, this man can't be from God. He doesn't keep the Sabbath." Others countered, "How can a bad man do miraculous, God-revealing things like this?" There was a split in the ranks. And so begins every battle, every war over doctrine and dogma, over what is seen and what is not seen, over what is possible and not possible. That doesn't fit what we know, so it can't happen. It can't be allowed. But isn't there a possibility that this is something new from God? The religious leaders came back at the blind man. "You're the expert. He opened your eyes. What do you say about him?" And the man said, "He must be a prophet." And Jesus, the Jews didn't believe it. Didn't believe that the man was blind to begin with.
Go get a diaper.
We don't want to believe if it's possible, if it goes against what we understand, right?
Yes.
So we'll prove it a sham because it couldn't possibly have happened. So they called in the parents of the man who was now bright-eyed with sight, and they asked them, "Is this your son, one you say was born blind? So how is it that he now sees?" And his parents said, "We know he is our son, and we know he was born blind, but we don't know how he came to see. We haven't a clue about who opened his eyes. Why don't you ask him? He's a grown man and can speak for himself." His parents were talking like this because they were intimidated by the Jewish leaders who had already decided that anyone who took the stand Jesus was the Messiah would be kicked out of the synagogue. He was their son and they loved him, but they just didn't quite have enough courage to take a stand. And so they play it safe and they ask him, he's a grown man. His problem wouldn't go away. If they didn't squelch it soon, the word would get out and people would see that there were different possibilities to what had always been.
Okay.
Tradition would be challenged, the religious doctrine could be ignored, and the world wouldn't end. So the Pharisees said, "We have to discredit both the man who claims to heal and the one he claims healed him." And thus is every prophet and new possibility treated. They called the man back a second time, the man who had been blind, and told him, "Give credit to God. But this man is an imposter. And if you know what's good for you, you'll agree with us and denounce this imposter." The man replied, "I know nothing about that, one way or another. But I know one thing for sure. I was blind, and now I see." And they said, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? There must be something in his mind that will prove it's all a lie. I told you over and over, and you haven't listened. Why do you want to hear it again? Are you so eager to become his disciple?" That they jumped all over him. "You might be a disciple of that man, but we're disciples of Moses. We know for sure that God spoke to Moses, but we have no idea where this man even comes from. And if we don't know him or where he comes from, then he can't be real." The man replied, "This is amazing. You claim to know nothing about him, but the fact is he opened my eyes. It's well known that God isn't at the beck and call of sinners, but listens carefully to anyone who lives in reverence and does his will. That somehow someone who has opened the eyes of a blind man, that's never been heard of, ever. If this man didn't come from God, he'd be able to do anything." And they said, "You're nothing but dirt. How dare you take that tone with us?" And they threw him out on the streets. Can't be persuaded to change his story, then we'll totally ignore him. Right? Nothing but dirt. And so we'll treat him as dirt and toss him away. Problem solved. Order restored. Life can return to normal. But Jesus heard that they had thrown him out and went and found him. And Jesus asked him, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" And the man said, "Point him out to me, sir, so that I can believe in him." And Jesus said, "You're looking right at him. Don't you recognize my voice?" "Master, I believe," said the man, and worshiped him. Recognizing Jesus as a healer, to a prophet, the Messiah, this man continues to have his eyes open, his sight restored, and his vision made clear. Then Jesus said, "I came into the world to bring everything into the clear light of day, making all the distinctions clear, so that those who have never seen will see, and those who have made a great pretense of seeing will be exposed as blind." We all have the opportunity to choose. Do we live in the clear light of day, or do we retreat into the blindness and darkness of the world, where we feel safe and secure and don't have to change? Now, some Pharisees overheard Jesus and said, "Does that mean you're calling us blind? Who does he think he is? We're the religious leaders. We're the ones who know the way of God. How dare he call us outcasts?" And Jesus said, "If you were really blind, you would be blameless. But since you claim to see everything so well, you're accountable for every fault and failure." This is a story of contrast and of choice.
Put it up against the wall.
Can we be open to new
Put it on the
possibilities?
wall.
The possibilities that God gives us? Possibilities that would move us beyond what we believe and know to be true? What we're comfortable with in our lives? Ephesians reminds us, "For once you were darkness, but now in the Lord you are light. Live as children of light. For the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true." Try to find out what is pleasing to the Lord. Therefore, it says, "Keeper, awake, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." In this time of great uncertainty, where there's so much that is unknown, we trust that God will lead us to a better future. Should we let go of fear and be and become the light of God for the world? The events are not of our choosing, but the way we respond is.
Get out.
This is a time that we can shine, that we can show the world what it means to live in the light, the love and the grace of God. I invite all of you to the best of your ability to live that light and love and grace of God in all that you do and all that you say. Be the agents of God that will transform this world into God's world, where we can all find that love and grace and acceptance and healing. Thinking with Jesus' words on this, he said, we need to be energetically at work for the one who sent me here, working with the sun while it shines. When night falls, the workday is over. For as long as I am in the world, there's plenty of light. I am the world's light. And we are called to be the reason someone smiles today. We're called to be little Christ in our world, the light to all. Amen. I want to share this morning some ways for our announcements, ways that we're already trying to be the light. To let you know that the clergy, especially the four of us, the two UCC and Lutheran clergy, we're still meeting by Skype, by Zoom, every week, and we're sharing email information all the time. We're trying to coordinate our efforts so that we can continue to have a vibrant ministry with you and with the whole community. To let you know, we're working on a Wednesday evening, a Zoom worship service that'll be starting April 1st. It'll be like 6:30 to 7 that anybody can come into, log into. We'll as soon as that information, so you can use the same login each time. And that's a wonderful way for us kind of to continue our Lenten midweek services, to continue it on for as long as we need it to be there. The food bank was open last week, and they're going to try and be open as much as they can. So if you know anybody that needs to use the food bank, they're using a drive-by pickup service, so there's minimal contact with people. And then also for those of you, if you've seen on the news, they're asking for people to sew to make masks out of cloth. So there's an opportunity for you to do something at home. There's plenty of designs online, so you can follow those. And I've really been trying, our elders have all hooked up with one of our shut-ins, but I'm thinking that there's a lot of our members who may not be a shut-in, but who might live alone. So I encourage all of you to kind of connect with someone, in the church. And if you had prayer partners before, maybe connect with them again. Or connect with, be a technology buddy with someone who doesn't have emails. Because I think Fernando, you'll agree with me, that the easiest and fastest way for us to communicate right now is by email. So we'll also try and use our Facebook and our webpage. And we're recording this service, I hope. I'm still learning how to do it. And I'm hoping we can get it posted to our website so anybody can come and see it. I think that's all right now. And you can unmute if does anybody else have announcements to be made?
Unmute. I never muted.
Pastor Jennifer, can you hear me?
I can hear
I
you.
have a little announcement. I just wanted to make a very short announcement to everyone. But first of all, a happy spring greeting to all and a heartfelt welcome to our members and other guests that I was expecting, but I don't see any except one that I invited from Reading, one of my colleagues. Yeah, she's hooked on. So as we move forward in time, protecting ourselves from current pandemic threats to our health, it's good to know that we'll be doing worship by video conferencing like we are right now. Until the state officials and experts say it is safe to worship in person again, we'll be keeping you updated by email or letter. And meanwhile, let's continue taking care of each other. And thank you very much for tuning in, and God bless you.
Thanks, Fernando. Anybody else for the announcement? Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Are you keeping 6 feet of separation there?
I don't see Carl separated from from Kathy. That's not 6 feet to me.
I got a good thing going here.
And especially if you know of anybody, you know, like we're also trying to arrange it, like to go shopping or get groceries or either take someone shopping or to do the grocery shopping for them if they need help. So let us know if you know of anybody or you yourself need it. Or if you're out of toilet paper, that's disappears from the stores. Do we have any birthdays from people online right now from last week or this week? Nope. We don't get to sing. All right. So again, just remember to, just take time, this time that you're stuck at home anyway, to let it be a time to enjoy nature more, to be time in prayer, get caught up on reading, reading spiritual practices and stuff. I'll try and be sending out something. I'm going to try. This week was been consumed learning how to do all of this stuff. But just something maybe on Tuesdays and Fridays, just a little email blurb. So share with me what you're doing so we can share it with others, ways that you're learning to cope with all of this. And use it as an opportunity. We're stuck here anyway. Let's use it as an opportunity to grow as people. So let's continue now in our time of prayer. And I will open up like I always do for the names of people. And even if you can't, your mic's not on, you can still name people aloud or just name them in your heart. So let's begin our time of prayer with a moment for quiet reflection. Dear God, these are difficult times for us all. We're not sure what's happening. We're not sure how to respond, really. It's changing the way we live and view life so rapidly. And we're feeling overwhelmed. We ask you to be with us, to give us your comfort, your strength, your insight, and help remind us that we are all loved. And if we work together, we can use this as a time to not only transform ourselves, but to transform the world, to make it a more loving and caring place, to make it so that we look out for one another and we learn to connect with each other in new and different ways. We ask you, God, that you be with all the medical personnel, those who are on the front line, who are putting their own lives at risk to care for those who are sick. And we ask, dear God, that you help all the lines of manufacturing and distribution so that they can get the resources they need with masks and gowns and respirators and everything else to care for themselves so that they can care for the patients. And we ask, dear God, that you be with all who are struggling with this disease, and especially those who have perhaps lost loved ones. We can't really have funeral services for them right now and mourn their loss.
I love you.
Be with them.
I love you.
Care for them. And we also want to lift up and especially pray for people right now who are near and dear to us, who are on our minds and who are in our community. And we lift up their names as we pray for
Lex Meldrum, the Kunkel family,
Rosalie,
we ask you, God, that you watch over these people as you watch over us and help us to live out your will. And hear us now as we say the prayer that Jesus taught us. Our
Father,
who art in
Lord in
heaven,
heaven,
hallowed be thy
hallowed be
name.
thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Kingdom come,
thy
thy
will be done
done,
on
on
earth
earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
This day our daily bread, and forgive
Forgive
us
us
our
our
debts.
as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil.
From evil.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
And now we have our invitation to give. God invites us to view the valley of dry bones and lost hope that fills our world, especially right now. And God calls us to prophesy to these bones and say to them, "Oh, dry bones, hear the word of God." We offer ourselves and our resources that God might blow through our world with life and energy. So I want to, yeah? Is somebody saying something? Okay, I guess it's offline. So it's kind of, if you have your offering, maybe you can hold it or think about it, what you give. Something that symbolizes your offering, not only if you're offering to the church, but your offering that you can make to your loved ones right now, to the community. And just hold that in your heart, hold it maybe symbolically in your hands. And if you do have your offerings, please continue to send them into the church so we can continue to do our ministry. We need the support right now, ongoingly, as during this transition time and when we start meeting in person again. So say this prayer of dedication of ourselves and our offering. Loving God, as you illuminate our lives, fascinating insights and possibilities, we reach out to share your love, our tithes and offerings, and our investment of time and energy. All this we offer now for your blessings, for apart from you, the light goes out of our lives, and we slip into meaningless existence. Let us rather dwell with you
and serve you wherever we go. Amen.
I'm going to go back to where we can see all the boxes again and see each other. We've had 24 of our people worshiping together today. Get the word out. Let them know that it's different, but is it okay? Better than nothing?
Yeah. Nothing.
Just remember to turn your mute off.
Yeah. That's interesting because Brian has his mute. He is muted, but we still hear him. It's interesting.
I don't know.
Mike.
I don't know.
I invite you to put your hand over your heart, your left hand over your heart, and your right hand out to each other. So we'll bless each other. And may the blessings of God really rest upon you during this time. May God's love surround you and fill you. May the Spirit be with you, leading you forward. And may the love of Jesus just overflow through all that you do. Go and live God's peace, be God's light, be the world. Amen.
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 And email me any feedback, any thoughts, any ideas. Let people know that this is working. We were able to do it. And just stay healthy and connected. Keep connected. Blessings, everybody, and have a great rest of your day and week.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor Jennifer. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. We're good.